Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show. Before the free show, we go over to the thinker.
No, I'm just looking at some.
You're doing the thinking pose.
Looking at some internet. That's what I'm trying to do. Hello. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, living the dream. So I don't think I have a pre-show topic. I don't know if you do.
I can go off of something that's you.
Well, the only other thing I will. I guess I'll say this.
Okay.
I signed up for Ancestry.com.
Oh, you did. Okay, so our conversation this morning sparked it.
Well, I'd been thinking about it for a while, and I'll tell you why.
But it was enough to push you to do it.
For sure. Yeah, enough for me to pull the trigger.
Okay.
So I have a very distinct middle name.
Yes.
Right. And I gave that middle name to my son.
Yes.
Give it to Hank. And I knew that it was my grandfather's middle name. Mm-hmm. That's where I got it. It's my mom's dad's middle name.
So yes,
my maternal grandfather's middle name.
Correct.
And so then the last time I saw my mom, I was like, "Hey,
where'd that come
from? Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from?"
The meatloaf.
And she said, And the reason that she said is so everyone has 4 grandparents, right? I knew a pretty decent story for 3 of them, right? For 3 of them. My paternal grandfather was named Max. They lived in Chicago. He was a sheet metal worker.
Right.
He is of Polish descent. His grandfather's name was Tomac. He immigrated from Poland. Okay. He was married to my grandmother, whose name was Elizabeth. We called her Betty. Her maiden name was McEwen, rather. She was super Irish.
Yes.
Crazy Irish.
Which is, again, what we
Full-blown
said.
Irish.
This is why you are basically fluorescent.
Full-blown Irish, okay? And they are Midwestern Irish and Polish, okay?
So
it is a very traditional...
Very light.
Let me tell you, that is a very traditional Chicago wedding. It's a Pole and an Irishman, okay? That's where I come from, okay? That's my dad's side. On my mom's side, there's my maternal grandmother, whose name was Valerie, and she was born in Winnsboro. She moved to Mineola and eventually moved to Dallas, where she married my grandfather, okay, my maternal grandfather. That's where we're at, and the reason I stopped there is because we don't know basically anything about his side of the family.
Right.
Because we know he was born in Tennessee.
Okay.
And he was the oldest of 3 boys. And I talked to my mom about this because she knew this stuff. And word of mouth is obviously the best way because she talked to the man himself. She said that he was born in Tennessee and his mom died when he was 4.
Right.
Okay. And dad, whose name I now know is Ephraim.
Okay.
Ephraim.
Sure.
He, actually, I think he was, maybe even junior. He was not down with raising 3 kids by himself.
Yeah.
And so the 3 boys were scattered to the winds, and they were, I think, raised by aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins and stuff like that. And so we don't have a great, family tree of this one quartile of my life,
absolutely.
Which happens to have a namesake between me and Hank.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to figure out where it comes from. That's
nice.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out where my middle name comes from.
Now, are you doing... Okay, because I've had a friend who did... I think it was...
I can see how people who are retired and people who have a lot of time on their hands, I can see how they get lost in this.
Right,
I'm going through this.
There's a bunch of different things.
My great-grandfather. Let me throw this out there. My great-great-grandfather's name was George Washington, and then his last name. My mom's maiden name. How about that?
That is something. But there are things that you can do to find out. Super long back into the lineage. But then there's also this stuff to find out you can actually send in, I don't know if it's a prick of blood or what it is, but you can go back and find out exactly. One of my friends did that to find out you basically get a pie chart and you get told exactly what you are, 33% this or 0.01% this, and it's like that's really cool too.
Yeah, I'm interested in that, but one of the issues is that I just know I'm super white.
Right,
Just
which again,
translucent.
the Polish and everything go like
Polish and Irish, baby.
Yeah,
Although I gotta find out where, because let me tell you, my grandmother. I now know that her parents were named. And remember, she grew up in East Texas.
Right.
Her parents were named Vardy Lee and Ada Sue. Awesome. That's
East Texas.
That's pure uncut East Texas right there. Oh, we're going to the marriage of Vardy Lee and Ada Sue.
That's great.
They're turning 17, so they're getting married.
Yeah, I told you, but we've got my dad has it, but we have an entire pickle lineage book of records that have been kept. So I need to go back through that now, being older, where I can understand more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know.
Now I'm Czechoslovakian, a big portion of me, so that comes with the light features and the ability to not be translucent like you are. I get really I tan super easy.
No, if I go in the sun, I just melt.
Yeah.
That's how.
Oh wait, so are you a vampire?
That's how all the.
You're not Polish or anything. You're a vampire.
That's how all the polls go. We just what happens.
You do to stay up late.
We walk. Yep.
Yeah.
We walk outside in the sunlight, and it's like, well, that was a good run.
Maybe that's my thing. I'll just bring garlic in and see if it gets you to go away.
Yeah. We'll see.
Tepper be gone.
All right, hit the theme expo. Let's go! Free money! Free
How to sing blue baby. Shot glass in your hand.
Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a show that's just trying not to embarrass our great-great-grandparents. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine. TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com or on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She is Ashley Pickle. Hello, Ashley Pickle.
Howdy. How are you?
I'm good. You're wearing a Texas Tech shirt today.
I am supporting the LPs. LP works for Texas Tech.
Guns up.
So
Get your guns up.
I gotta have a little bias there.
Today is Tuesday, June 15th, 2021, 163 days till Thanksgiving. Pickle, do you want a birthday from 1969 or do you want a birthday from 1973?
There's no question. I don't understand how that is a question.
Which one?
I feel like it'll probably be more nice if we get one from 1969.
Happy birthday to Ice Cube.
Oh, legit.
And today's episode of 1186. Is that right? I didn't update that.
Yes.
1186. Okay, on today's show, guys, it's a big day where we're just going to show you what's in the magazine. It's a big day where we're
literally
just
the whole thing is nothing but an exclusive reveal.
So first and foremost, we're going to unveil the third annual Dave Campbell's Texas Football 40 under 40. Our coaches, the best young coaches in Texas, one of the hardest decisions we have to make every single year, but we're ready to unveil the 40 members of the 2021 Dave Campbell's Texas Football 40 under 40, the best young coaches in the state of Texas. We will have that. And then back half of the program, we will unveil Six-Man Day. We are going to unveil the top 10s in each of the divisions in Class 1A, 1A Division 2, and 1A Division 1. We'll unveil the top 10s. Of course, we have expanded rankings in the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which you can get at texasfootball.com/subscribe.
It looks pretty dope.
I agree.
We've seen it.
Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Daniel Agnew, Rob Hadaway, Aaron Arbuckle, and Miss Terry Adams. Welcome in, fellas and lady fella.
Welcome in, friends. Okie dokie. So, Pickle, a few years ago, we started a little project here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football where we wanted to identify the best young coaches in Texas. We wanted to go out there and shine a spotlight on some guys who are up-and-comers, guys and gals. Gals are eligible too.
Yeah.
But who are some of the up-and-coming stars in the coaching community. You know, I say all the time that, especially in the high school ranks, and I would say in the college ranks as well, the real strength of Texas and the reason that football is so good in this state generally is the depth of coaching. I think that the coaches are there's a lot of really, really good coaches. And because of that trickles down so that you have really excellent young coaches.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing that we want to spotlight with our 40 under 40. We're spotlighting the best young coaches in Texas. And so what we did, we broke it up, 10 college coaches and 30 high school coaches honored as the best young coaches in the Lone Star State that we've got our eye on going into 2021. And without further ado, let's unveil the college members of the 40 under 40, starting with Sean Bell, Baylor quarterbacks coach. The former Baylor quarterback has served in many different roles under Matt Rule and Dave Aranda, and he helped set the tone for the offense that earned a trip to the Big 12 title game in 2019. Ryan Carty, the Sam Houston offensive coordinator. He took over a championship-level offense at Sam Houston and found a way to make it even more versatile. His work with Eric Schmid over the past 2 seasons helped them win a title in 2020. Zarnell Fitch, the defensive line coach from TCU, after being promoted to defensive line coach in 2016, Fitch has guided some of the most productive defensive lines in the nation. They have had 3 D linemen drafted in the last 3 drafts. Texas safeties coach Blake Gideon. The former Texas Longhorns letterman has risen quickly through the collegiate ranks thanks to Houston taking a shot, and now he'll focus on developing safeties for his alma mater. UTSA running backs coach Julian Griffin. He's done an outstanding work with Rakeem Boyd at Arkansas and now Sincere McCormick at UTSA in his young career. McCormick, of course, last year finished number 2 nationally in Griffin's first year under Jeff Traylor at UTSA. Texas State offensive coordinator Jacob Peeler helped develop A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf at Ole Miss and then turned no-name transfer Marcel Barbie into one of the best receivers in the state. His receivers live up to the nasty wideouts moniker that he coined. Billy Rybach, the Texas A&M offensive coordinator, has coached at every level of college football before landing at one of D2's premier jobs. He helped develop Miklo Smalls into a 3,000-yard passer and the Lions into a playoff offense. Texas A&M defensive backs coach T.J. Rushing won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts, then turned his attention to developing strong defensive backs. The Aggies' passing defense has improved dramatically since he took over the job in 2020. SMU assistant head coach Rashad Samples, the son of Duncanville coach Reginald Samples, has set the tone for SMU's recruiting explosion in the DFW and helped turn Ulysses Bentley IV into one of the state's top rushers. And rounding out the college football portion of the 40 under 40, it's Stephen Thrash, the Mary Hardin Baylor receivers coach. Thrash has proven to be a strong developer of receiver talent at the Division III level and a high-level recruiter for one of the top programs in the division. So there you have it, the college members of the DCTF 40 under 40. Then there's the high school ranks, and we'll start with Courtney Allen at North Crowley. He was an assistant at Lancaster before taking over at North Crowley in 2018. He led the Panthers to the area playoffs in 2020. Garrett Avalos from Rankin, one of the best six-man football's rising stars. He led the Red Devils to a 28-8 record over the last 3 seasons. Brian Bell at China Spring. He comes from a strong coaching family. His dad, Mark, was a longtime head coach at China Spring, and his brother, Sean, we just mentioned in the 40 under 40. Brian has been in charge at China Spring for 3 seasons and at 21 and 16. Kevin Bernithi at Pasadena Dobie has quietly turned Dobie into a force in the Houston area. Casey Black at Rio Vista had stops at Snyder, Athens, and Sinton as an assistant before taking over at Rio Vista, where he led them to their best mark since 2000 in his first season. Robert Boone at Carrollton Newman Smith. He's a native of Allen. He's been the offensive coordinator at Lubbock Estacado and McKinney High. Now he gets a shot to be the head coach at Newman Smith. Trey Bryant at Richardson Berkner. He's an alum and a former player at Baylor. Replaces his high school head coach Jim Ledford, and he was previously on the staff with Marcus Shavers at McKinney. Irvin Chandler at Princeton. Cheeseburger. A native of Venice, returns to Princeton where he was the defense coordinator from 2013-2017. In 2 seasons at Blooming Grove, he's really helped turn them around. Nick Caduti at Fulshire, the former offense coordinator at Tomball, gets his first shot at being a head coach in Texas. Texas, as he was named head coach at Fulshear in March. He has some head coaching experience. He was the head coach at Marshfield High in Missouri. Mm-hmm. Lance Conant at Brownsboro, DCTF's own, just 34 years old. It's hard to believe he's already been head coach for 10 years. He's compiled an impressive 75-38 record. Alton Dixon at Crockett, the Lufkin native and former Texas A&M Aggie, gets his first head coaching job at Crockett, where after he was previously an assistant at Lufkin and Wiley East. Justin Evans at Corpus Christi Miller has helped turn Miller into a powerhouse in Region 4, helping guide the Bucks to a 9-5 record in 2020 and a trip to the regional finals. Jamal Fenner at Austin LBJ, the former UTEP Miner, returned to his hometown and made a big impact on the Austin community, leading the LBJ Jaguars. They are 25-9 in 3 years. Thad Fortune at Midland, the new coach at Midland, was the offensive coordinator at Odessa Permian for the past few years, gets a head coaching job there in the Little Southwest Conference. And Zach Harrell, the Athens head coach, the son of state title-winning coach Sam Harrell, begins his third season at Athens High, where he's 10-11, and things are looking up there in Henderson County. Let's move on. Our final entries. Ben Hoffmeyer at Brian Brazos Christian. A defensive whiz. Hoffmeyer has impressive experience at every level. Defensive coordinator at Northland Christian's TAPS D3 school title in 2017, and an assistant at Houston Baptist before taking the job at the Brazos Valley. Staying in the private school ranks, Houston Kincaid's Nathan Larned is one of the most accomplished young coaches in Texas. He sports a 58-18-1 record at Kincaid, including SBC titles in 2013, 15, 17, and 2018, plus last year's undefeated COVID-shortened 2020. Down in the valley, Will Littleton at PSJA Memorial, the son of longtime McAllen Memorial head coach Bill Littleton, gets his shot as head coach at PSJA Memorial. Littleton was previously the office coordinator at PSJA North. Johnny Louvier at Gladewater. He's an alum and considered one of the top young coaches in East Texas. He's 18-15 in 3 seasons as a head coach, and enters his second season as an alma mater after posting an 8-3 record. Our buddy DJ Mann at Lubbock Coronado, after a highly successful assistant at Wiley, Cedar Hill, and Crosby. Mann's no stranger to the state championship stage. He gets his chance to be head coach at his alma mater. Out in center, Ricky Joe Meeks, the son of East Texas legend Dickie Meeks, is carving out his own coaching path. He posted a 21-13 record in 3 seasons at Alto, and then he moves over to center. Staying back up there in the Panhandle, Eric Mims at Amarillo Palo Duro, the former offensive coordinator at Duncanville, returns to his hometown where he will revive his alma mater in his first head coaching stint. In the private school ranks, Daniel Novikov at Dallas Parish Episcopal has been on the staff with the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami of Ohio Redhawks, but it's his first 4 seasons at Parish. 37-13 with TAPS titles in 2019 and 2020 may have been the most impressive. There are few better quarterback coaches in America than Daniel Novikov. Eric Peavy at Little Cypress Mauriceville spent 4 seasons rolling up an impressive 33-15 record at Beaumont Westbrook, including a trip to the title game. Now he takes over a new challenge at LCM. Frank Sandoval at West Mesquite in its second season at West Mesquite, looking to turn the Wranglers program onto solid footing. Cody Semper at Cy Woods. He's no stranger to success. He went 80-38 at Corpus Christi Ray and most recently at Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. Now he takes over at Cy Woods in one of the most competitive districts in 6A. In the 6-man ranks, Cooper Thornhill, one of the best defensive minds in 6-man football. Thornhill was defensive coordinator for the state champs Abbott in 2015 before moving on to Blum, where he led the Bobcats to their first state championship in 2019. Fort Worth Northside coach Joseph Turner is entering his 7th season at Northside, has completely turned the Steers program around, leading them to back-to-back playoff appearances for the first time since 1945 and 1946. In Lone Oak, Logan Turner, he's just 32, and he gets his first shot at being head coach at Lone Oak after a stint as being the offensive coordinator at Frisco Lone Star. He follows in the footsteps of his father, Brad Turner, whose first head coaching job was at Lone Oak in 1997 to 2000. And finally, White House head coach Kyle Westerberg, the son of former Allen and Barbers Hill head coach Tom Westerberg, gets a shot at being a head coach at White House. He was the offensive coordinator at Barbers Hill, but he's worked at Allen, Bay City, Arlington, Sam Houston, and Van Alstyne. There they are. The 2021 DCTF 40 Under 40. You can find more information for this in the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Congratulations to all the honorees. A very difficult selection process we go through every single year to do this, but we feel very good about our list. Congratulations to the members of the DCTF 40 Under 40 for 2021.
The other really cool thing when you were talking earlier about the young coaches and how this state is different because they coach up, the older coaches coach up those younger guys so well. If you go through and talk to those younger coaches and do interviews with them, you hear so much about them being proud of which coaching tree that they're a part of. I think that that's really cool that we've been able to kind of establish those powerhouse coaching trees and how proud the guys are to like kind of rep their team almost in that way.
Most certainly. So there you have. You can find more information on the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. I want to invite you to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Get the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, this bad boy, mailed directly to you. If you go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe, we'll drop it in the mail for you as soon as we get some copies here in the here in the office. So, TexasFootball.com/subscribe to get the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football as quickly as possible. Plus a lot of other great online content at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. All right, Pickle, there's one more thing we want to do today.
More reveals.
It's rankings reveal season, as we are unveiling the top 10s in the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Of course, we have expanded rankings in the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football at every classification, right? From 6A all the way down to 6-man. We have expanded rankings in every classification.
And private.
And the private school ranks. And we are, and of course, we have, we're going to unveil the top 10s here. For each of the classifications, but you can see where your team is ranked, plus predictions for every district in the state in the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Today, it's 6-man day. We're going to do the 1A rankings, the top 10s. We're going to start with the smallest UIL classification, 1A Division 2, where we start the top 10s with the Anton Bulldogs. 11-1 last year despite a very young team. We're very high on the squad because of a veteran defense. Anton, the number 10 team in Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Followed by number 9, Jayton, the Jaybirds. Graduation hit the Jaybirds hard, but tradition should carry them to another strong season. Jayton begins the year number 9 in Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Followed by the Cougars of Klondike are the number 8 team in Dave Campbell's Texas Football. The rise has been swift for Coach Dalton DeGraff and Reed's bunch, and the best is yet to come. This is a fast, dangerous team. Number 7, it's Follett. Coming off a run to the regional final, this is a team with good size that could push even farther. Follett, the number 7 team. Number 6, Calvert. This is an extremely young team, but they'll be very physical, and Jamarcus Ashley can coach them up. We like this Trojans team and the potential that they have. Calvert begins the year number 6 in Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Into the top 5 we go, where we find the Groom Tigers at number 5. Surprise semifinalist from a year ago loses just 3 to Letterman, and the expectations are high for another deep run. Number 4, the Balmorhea Bears, the defending state champs, check in at number 4. Coming off their first title in program history, the defense is starting from scratch. But there are few coaches in America like Coach Vance Jones. Balmorhea starts the year number 4 in 1A Division 2, which means we are predicting a new champ. Number 3 is Strawn. The Greyhounds, after one of the strangest off seasons in the state, the dust has settled, and Coach Dwayne Lee's Greyhounds are loaded for bear. The Strong Greyhounds, the number 3 team. Number 2, the Richland Springs Coyotes. After coming up short in their record 10th title record 10 title last year, Coach Jerry Burkhart will have a young but talented squad ready to push for a double-digit title, which leaves only one.
Calling your shot
the
here.
number 1 team in 1A Division 2. It's the Motley County Matadors. This is a senior-heavy squad led by running back Jake Richards that is anxious to finish the job and bring home a title. We believe in Motley County. We think they're the best team in 1A Division 2 to start the year. They're our pick to win the 1A Division 2 state championship. Motley County, the number 1 team in Dave Campbell's Texas Football in our preseason 1A Division 2 rankings. Of course, remember, you can find complete rankings and expanded rankings in the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which you can get at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Finally, Pickle.
One more
little reveal. Let's go to 1A Division 1, the largest 6-man classification. Of course, we will see where these teams stack up, starting with number 10, How about the Spring Lake Earth Wolverines, ranked for the first time in the preseason as a six-man program? Still new to the six-man game, DCTF thinks this is the year the Wolverines make the big leap as they return every starter. Spring Lake Earth, the number 10 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football.
Very nice logo, by the way.
Number 9. The Panthers of Abbott are the number 9 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. Coach Terry Crawford's squad surprised us last year, but with terrific depth, outstanding experience, and strong pedigree, they won't sneak up on us again. Abbott is the number 9 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football, followed by the Eagles of Lakey are the number 8 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. It's easy to forget that they're a young six-man program, but this year's senior-laden Eagles bunch may be the best one yet. Lakey, the number 8 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. Number 7.
Blum!
It's the Blum Bobcats. This might be Coach Cooper Thornhill's deepest squad, as Armando De Hoyos leads what is one of the six-man best defenses. Keep an eye on Blum, the number 7 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. Unveiling the 1A Division I rankings here on Texas football today as we move into number 6. The Jonesboro Eagles are the number 6 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. They are short on experience with just 2 starters back, but Ian Schoaf leads the way for Eddie Gallegos' steady-as-she-goes program in 2021. Into the top 5 we go. The Red Devils of Rankin are the number 5 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. They are not just a barbecue powerhouse. The Red Devils boast strong depth, with Braxton Kirkland leading the charge, and could be a dark horse in the rough and tumble Region 2. Number 4, the Westbrook Wildcats are the number 4 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. One of the biggest surprises in Texas high school football last year. We don't think it was a fluke. Jimmy Roberts and Shema Stark lead a star-studded group of Wildcats. Westbrook begins the year number 4 in Dave Campbell's Texas football. Number 3. The Tigers of May are the number 3 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. After coming up short in the title game last year, the Tigers are hungry for another chance, with Caden Hawk guiding the Region 4 favorites. Number 2. The Borden County Coyotes are the number 2 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. Trey Ritchie is starting almost from scratch, but with just 2 lettermen back from last year's state semifinals. But super sophomore Ishmael Rodriguez is the next big thing. Keep an eye on Borden County. They're the number 2 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football, which leaves only one team, the number 1 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football. It's the defending champs, Sterling City. The defending state champs start where they finished last year, with Damian Calderon and a strong group of seniors returning, making them our pick to win the 1A Division I title. There you have it, the 2021 preseason Texas high school football rankings for Class 1A Division I. Of course, we have expanded rankings and predictions for every district in the state. If you go to texasfootball.com/subscribe and get your copy of the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. There you have it. The 1A rankings. Tomorrow, we are going to reveal the 2A rankings.
Yeah, and those rankings are always fun when you have one that has a new state champion projected, and then one that it's hard to argue Sterling City, and I think most people would agree with that.
Sterling City, I think, starts the year, although I would say that I don't know. Last year, they obviously made a great run. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to have a big target on their chest this year.
Yep.
And they also have to go through what I think is the most difficult region.
Yes.
In Region 2. So
I think that's the one thing about 1A Division 1 is they all end up, all those top 10 teams typically have to go through each other.
Well, and let's be honest. Like I'll be honest. Like if I was sitting here and and do not gamble on high school football. But if I were to bet some M&Ms,
yes.
If I were to wager my M&Ms against your M&Ms on a team to win the 1A Division I state championship right now, you know what my pick is? It's May.
Yep.
And that's because they're on the other side of the bracket. Because I think they're the favorites in Region 4. I think that if you're talking about getting there and then it's okay, it's a 40-minute game, May would be the pick. The problem, like the thing with that is you take a look at our top 5, right? Rankin, Westbrook, Borden County, Sterling City, all Region 2.
Yep.
Only one of those teams can get out of their own region, let alone get to AT&T Stadium, where they have to play a team from Region 1. So for me, I look at that and I would say that, yeah, I think that Region 2 is definitely the power nexus in 1A Division 1. And as a result, if you were saying, okay, who is the surest thing
to get into
to get there,
game?
just get there? I think May looks really good, especially Caden Hulk back.
They did that last year, 1, and then 2, the experience of having those guys, even though they didn't necessarily play as well as they wanted to. The experience of getting to AT&T bodes super well of knowing what they need to switch if they get back there again.
So there you have it. The rankings tomorrow. We will reveal the 2A rankings, the top 10s. Dave Campbell's Texas football. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts?
Some controversy going on in the comments here, and
Love
I know the reasoning behind it, but
Love
I'm wondering if you can provide a little more insight since we don't hide anything from people. When we reveal the 40 under 40 list, there is one glaring name that people are saying, how in the world could you leave that off? It's Riley Dodge, and the reasoning behind it being...
Oh, it's easy. Yeah, no.
He's been on it for 3 straight years.
Oh.
Right?
He's too old. He's like 68.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can tell by the way he looks.
No, we do not like to. We like to spread it around. We don't like to get. We don't like to get guys on there in back-to-back years. I believe he was on both the 2018 or 2019 and 2020
Steph
list.
said he's been on it for 3 straight years, and that was the.
Then I don't.
cap.
Yeah. Then we don't want to. We want to spread this thing around. So yeah, I think it goes without saying. We think Riley Dodge is one of the best young coaches in the state. I think he's already got a couple 40 under 40 footballs from us. He probably doesn't need another one. We want to give that spot to somebody else. And so we spread it around a little bit. So these are, to be clear, these are not the only good young coaches in Texas. I can think of a fair number of other really good ones right now who have a great argument for being on the 40 under 40 list. And then the other thing is there's a lot of other coaches out there who are really, really good who are like 41 or like 43. And that's annoying, too, because it's like, I want to put you on this list, but it's like, come on, man.
Right.
Be younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was that. I mean, we said the capping the thing, but I think it's more, and there was a comment brought up about some, like, at that point, do you value the production on the field or do you value about spreading it around? And I think it's one of those things that you have to find. There's no rhyme or reason. You have to find a balance between the two.
Yeah, there's no hard and fast rule.
There's too many. It would be one thing if it was just the college coaches. Like, that's one thing.
If we did 100 under 40, I mean, this would be a different conversation.
Yeah, but
like,
there's
because we are limited to 40, we want to make sure that we are, we're able to spread it around a little bit. And I think obviously Riley Dodge is a pretty darn good coach.
And I think we've everyone
said that,
understands that.
We all understand that. But yeah, we wanted to make sure we were able to spread around just a little bit. So there you go. There's the answer to that. Okie dokie. That's going to do it for us. Power's coming in tomorrow, right?
Sure. Some Cruton. That's a typical Wednesday thing, I would assume.
It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. See you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.